Gotten coffee. Second one on me. You'll have to do it tomorrow. Oh, let's see what's happening in the morning paper. Just have three of them for us this morning, and always a pleasure. City Press editor, it's Mondli Makhanya joining us here on the show this morning. Hello to you, Mondli. The Star newspaper, if we could start there. This almost feels like the CR17 funds and that campaign is just going to become the legacy of Cyril Ramaphosa's presidency. Mondli, or am I off base?
You're absolutely correct, and especially as long as the wars in the ANC continue, and the wars in the ANC are not going to end, they're going to get even more intensified. And what the story is basically saying is that there's a group of ANC supporters, mostly from the RET side, Ace Makhanya supporters, who have written a letter to the Secretary General's office saying that Ramaphosa should be disciplined over supposedly buying the elections in 2017. And these people are from the Ace Makhanya side. So basically what's happening now is that the RET forces, so to speak, have been on the retreat and have suffering a lot of losses. And I think the one stick that they have now to beat Cyril Ramaphosa with are these CR17 funds. And it is a good stick to beat with because a lot happened there. It was not only Cyril Ramaphosa who used money, it was also all the candidates. It was all the campaigns were well funded. But obviously he won, so he has to be the one who occupies the center focus.
Yeah, and Onika Mapisa, they've been the coordinator of these 8 signatories, quite vocal, saying that the ANC need to treat all party members equally, and there should be no double standards. He needs to still present himself to the disciplinary committee, rather, of the ANC. But I want to move to the Cape Times now. Eskom dealing there with a 200 rand million blow. It seems judgment, shoves and shares money being wasted trying to keep aging plant running. That's a concern there. News coming from Eskom, Mondli.
Yes, I mean, like it does not stop raining for Eskom. Now they're being hit with a 200 million rand claim. Like they're already besieged by massive debt, and we found out over the weekend that NERSA has turned down their tariff application, and Eskom itself is warning that should that stand, it's going to devastate the utility. So this is not the only claim against Eskom. There are many others, many contractors who want money out of Eskom. And so I think in the quest to turn Eskom around, the Director and his team are facing a massive uphill because they try to patch this hole and then the other hole, and then another hole. Yeah.
Let's take a quick look at the Witness newspaper, if we could. I think we are done with... No, we're not.
We're not.
We're not. So let's go back to the Cape Times on that. I was wondering where the Chief Justice nominee story was. I've moved on to the Witness very quickly. I'll tell you why. So written objections being called for, Mondli, for the public to weigh in to the Chief Justice nominees. And there's so many angles to this story. I think the one that stands out for me is perhaps where the current Chief Justice is. Or am I being too critical?
You are not being too critical. I think there's two things there. It's the fact that, this process is turning out to be very clumsy. Cyril Ramaphosa, President Ramaphosa, thought he was introducing an era of transparency in selecting the Chief Justice, whereas he should have actually just selected a Chief Justice and then allowed us to judge. We could have had a similar process that we had in 2011, where the Chief Justice then gets interviewed so that we all get to see who he or she is. But this is opening it up to the public. Now you've got the likes of Mokgabane and Judge Hlophe and so on. And now they're saying that the public must now object. So now we all become part of it. And of course, there are going to be hundreds of objections, scores of objections, people saying that Mokgabane is wrong because of this, Hlophe is wrong because of this. And then the other side is going to say, no, Dustin Mlambo is wrong because of 1, 2, 3, because he's been making judgments against our side and so on. So it's not a clean process. And of course, it's also exacerbated by the fact that our current Chief Justice has gone AWOL.
Yeah.
He before his term was up effectively, and he has not been part of a graceful handover.
Yeah.
And I think the it has been a shameful ending for his term.
It was so unfortunate, Mondli, I have to say. I mean, that long leave that he took just in time then to retire from his position, yeah, it was really unfortunate how that ended. I just want to move to the witness before we ask you what you are looking at City Press. A paramedic there killed after being ambushed by known gunmen while treating a patient. Is this what our country has come to? Yeah. You're treating a patient and then you are falling victim of crime.
Yes, I mean, like I say, it's probably one of the saddest stories of this week, and unfortunately, it is not isolated. We've seen this happen in many other areas. We've seen it happen particularly on the Cape Flats, where paramedics go into certain areas and get shot. Sometimes they get hijacked, and these people are going there to save lives. And in this particular case, just seeing the picture of that particular paramedic who was somebody who, as the story says, was committed to the job that she was doing, and trying to save a life, she loses hers. I mean, like, it really begs the question, what have we become?
Yeah, what have we become? And I think it's important we say her name as well, Phumzile Dlamini, over 10 years as a paramedic with intermediate life support down in KZN EMS. Mondli, 30 seconds. So we're going to talk about a little known publication. I think it's called the City Press.
Might be.
It's the City Press, I think it's called. What are you guys covering today? Very briefly.
I may or may not have heard about it.
What have you guys got today?
Oh, well, look, I mean, like, I think we are focusing on now we are deep into election season. So I think that throughout this week, that's what we're going to be focusing on. We are going to be on the ground, looking at the candidates, looking at the issues that will affect November 1. And I think one of the things that also that we are going to be going very strongly on next month or so is the fact that COP26 is happening in about 2 months' time. So that's a major focus of ours, just bringing to the consciousness of South Africans the very, very grim picture that we face as humanity with climate change.
Yeah, climate change. And I would like to see more politicians talk about climate change as well. There's actually other news apart from the elections as well. Always a pleasure, Mondli. Appreciate your time. Mondli Makhanya from City Press. He is, of course, the editor.